Welcome back for today's lesson. Today we're going to be working with video 6, all about writing the equations of our lines. All right, our goal for today, given a description about a line, you will be able to write its equation. All right, so this here is going to be very vague, a description, so we're going to have to read very carefully in order to write its equation. All right, before we get started, let's just review 4 key main ideas that are going to help us out in this lesson. Okay, the first one is the equation of a line. So we have to remember the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. Okay, and remember the m stands for the slope and your b stands for the y-intercept. Okay, another reminder for us is going to be the slope formula. And the slope formula is change in y all over change in x. All right, we have parallel lines. Now we have to remember the relationship between parallel lines is they're going in the same direction. Okay, and because they're going in the same direction, that means they are going to have the same exact slope. So they have the same slope. Okay, and finally, perpendicular lines. So perpendicular lines are lines that intersect to form 90-degree angles. Okay, and the key thing about perpendicular lines, in order to form those 90-degree angles, their slopes have to be negative reciprocal slopes. So they are negative reciprocal slopes. And that one's kind of a tough one, so I'm going to go ahead and give ourselves an example. So an example of that one, if I had a slope of 2 over 3, its perpendicular slope would be, so negate it, so it becomes negative, and reciprocal means we have to flip it. So that would be the negative reciprocal slope. Okay, so now that we have our little reminders, let's go ahead and jump into our first question. So number 1, write an equation of the line that has a slope of 3 and passes through the point of 1, 5. Okay, so by reading this, I'm seeing that I have to write the equation of a line. So I know my equation of a line is right here, so I need to fill this in. Y equals mx plus b. So in order to fill in this equation, I need the slope and the y-intercept. So I'd like you to read the question one more time and let's see if we can find those. Okay, so here we have the slope of 3. So this is going to be our m. But instead of telling us the y-intercept, it says, and passes through the point 1, 5. So 1, 5 is not the y-intercept, but this is just a point. But remember, if the line goes through this point, it is a coordinate, which means it is an x value and a y value. So what we're going to do now, because we still need to find that y-intercept, is we're going to take and we're going to plug in the m, we're going to plug in the x, and we're going to plug in the y, which means the only variable left would be b. So we're going to go ahead and solve for b. So let's try that out. So my y value is 5. So I put a 5 under the y. My m is my slope, and my slope is 3, so I put a 3 there. Now the x is right next to the m, and my x value is 1. And then plus b. So now let's go ahead and solve for b. So 3 times 1 is 3, so we get 5 is equal to 3 plus b. So then I'm just going to subtract 3 from both sides. And my b value is equal to 2. So now I have my b value, I have my slope, so now we can write the equation of a line. So our equation of the line is y equals 3x plus 2. And we've got it. All right, so now that we did one, let's go ahead and try another one. So number 2. Write the equation of a line that passes through the points A and B. Okay, so I first need to write the equation of a line, so that's going to be y equals mx plus b. So now we need to ask ourselves, in order to write the equation of a line, what are the two things that we need? We need the slope and the y-intercept. Does this question tell me either one of those? It doesn't, but it does give me 2 points. And if I have 2 points, that means I can use the slope formula to find the slope. So let's go ahead and let's do that. Let's calculate the slope. So change in y over change in x. So 5 minus 13 all over x minus x, 1 minus 5. So 5 minus 13 is negative 8. And 1 minus 5 is going to give me a negative 4. Negative 8 divided by negative 4 is a positive 2. So now I know my slope is going to be 2. All right, so my m value is 2, but I still don't know my b value. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use the strategy we did up above, and we're going to plug in one of the points in our slope, and we're going to find the b value. So you can choose either point. I'm going to pick the first one. I'm going to put an x above the 1, a y above the 5, and now I'm going to plug it into my equation of a line. So I know my y is equal to 5. The slope that I just found was 2, so I'm going to plug in a 2. My x value is 1 plus b. Now 2 times 1 is 2 plus b, and then I subtract the 2, and now I'm going to get 3 is equal to my b. So now I have my slope of 2, my b value of 3. I have enough information to write my equation of a line. Y is equal to 2x plus 3, and that's my final answer. All right, let's take a look now at number 3. Write the equation of a line that is parallel to this equation and whose y-intercept is negative 8. So for this question, again, it's telling us write the equation of a line. So I need to fill in this equation. So in order to fill this in, I need my m and I need my b. But if I read the question, doesn't tell me the slope, but it does tell me my y-intercept. So negative 8, this is my b value. Now it doesn't tell me the slope, but it does give me a helpful hint. It is parallel to this line. Now remember, parallel lines have the same slope. So if I can find the slope of this line, my new line is going to have the same slope. So let's go ahead and do that. So when I look at this line, I'm going to go ahead and divide everything by 2. So now I have y is equal to 1/2 x minus 3. So the slope of this line is 2, so that means a parallel slope is going to be the exact same, so 1/2. So now I have my slope, I have my y-intercept, and we can plug it in. So y is equal to 1/2 x minus 8. And we now have our final answer. Okay, let's flip it over. We've got 2 more questions left. Okay, so next up, number 4. Write the equation of a line perpendicular to negative 3y equals x minus 12 and whose y-intercept is 5. So again, it's telling me to write the equation of a line. So that means I need to fill in my formula, which means I need to find the m value and I need to find the b value. Well, when I read this question, it doesn't tell me the slope, but it does tell me that my y-intercept is 5, and that's going to be my b value. So now we still have to find the slope. They don't tell us the slope, but they do give us this helpful hint. It is perpendicular, okay, to this line. So if I can find the slope of this line, the slope is going to be perpendicular, which means it's going to be the negative reciprocal slope. So let's go ahead and do that. I need to get the y alone, so I'm going to divide everything by negative 3. So we get y is equal to, now if there's no number in front of an x, that means there's a 1 there. So my slope is going to be negative 1/3 x, and negative 12 divided by negative 3 is a positive 4. So my slope here is negative 1/3, which means the perpendicular slope is equal to, so we're going to flip it, so instead of 1/3, it's 3/1, and then we're going to negate it. So a negative negative turns into a positive 3. So now this is my new m. So now I have my slope and I have my y-intercept. We can plug it in. So y equals 3x plus 5, and we have our final answer. Okay, this last question's a little bit different, all right, but I wanted to challenge your thought process a little bit using the slope formula. So number 5, determine the value of r so that the line passing through R7 and 9,5 has a slope of negative 2/3. So when reading this question, does it ask us to write the equation of a line? Nope. So what is this question asking us? It's asking us to find the value of r. Okay, so we need to find r, and r is part of this point. So let's take a look and see if there's a key mathematical word in this problem that'll help us figure out an equation. All right, here it is. It is the word slope. Okay, so that's my key mathematical word. So let's start by writing the slope formula. Slope equals change in y over change in x. All right, so what we can do now is we're going to fill in the slope formula and see if we can use it to help us find the value of r. So we know that this is a point, so that is our x. This is our y. X, y, and my slope is negative 2/3. So underneath the word slope, I'm going to put my actual slope, which is negative 2/3, is equal to, and now I'm going to fill in the formula. So change in y, so that's 7 minus 5, over change in x, which is going to be r minus 9. Okay, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to simplify because I know, actually no, I don't have to do that. Let's take a look here. We have a fraction equal to a fraction. So what do we have to do here? Fraction equal to fraction? That's right, we're going to have to cross multiply. So we're going to cross multiply here. Now remember, these are binomials. Binomials are quantities. Quantities go into, you got it, parentheses. All right, so when I cross multiply here, I get negative 2 parenthesis, r minus 9 is equal to, and when I cross multiply this way, I get 3 parenthesis, 7 minus 5. All right, so let's go ahead now. We're going to solve for r. So I have to distribute negative 2. Negative 2 times r, negative 2r. Negative 2 times negative 9 is a positive 18. And over here, now there's no x's or r's over here, so I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. So 7 minus 5, well, that's actually 2. So really, this is just 3 times 2, which is 6. Now all we have to do is simply solve for r. So minus 18, negative 2r is equal to negative 12. Divide by negative 2. And we've got our final answer. R is equal to 6. All right, ladies and gentlemen, great job today. Remember, the main focus today was the equation of a line, okay, and using our slope formula. Have a great night.